So I actually have state that needs to sit somewhere. So there's like 3 possible solutions, right? So solution number one, have a stateless application, by which they mean put all the state in the database. Of course, the database is the least scalable tier, right? And what happens when you do this, when you try to keep conversational state in the database, is that you find, and not only is it least scalable tier, but it's also, we also have this problem that the database are not very good at batching, at being able to batch data to and from them. So what happens is that as soon as you try to keep your state in your database, you go back and forth every request, right? And of course, people who go down this path pretty soon find that their application doesn't scale, right? So what do? Well, they're using some kind of a mapping solution like Hibernate, something like that, right? And what they do is they go, well, I've got a problem with data access, right? So I'm gonna introduce a second level cache. But the second level cache is making the middle tier state stateful again. But it's even worse than that. Because a second level cache, I can't just replicate the state to any node I'm going to fail over to. I have to replicate it across the whole cluster. Even worse than that, I have to keep that transactionally consistent with the database and transactionally consistent across all nodes. This is much worse than a stateful session being, which can be kept consistent with the database by optimistic locking. So this is a far less scalable construct. Solution 2, this is the solution chosen by people who just heard stateful session names are unscalable and actually bother looking any further. And this is keep the state in the HTTP session. This is totally bogus, right? Because of course the HTTP session is exactly the same construct as a stateful session being from a scalability point of view, right? Except that it's broken. Because the servlet, if I put a Java bean in the HTTP session, like the servlet spec says that I don't have to replicate changes I make by calling the setters of this object across the cluster. So people like, so people think that, well, they think that they've gone from this, less scalable thing to a more scalable thing, but all they've gone is from something that scales okay to something that's broken. I don't have time to really go into a short rant about this, but suffice to say that not only is it broken, but also it forces us into this totally weird architecture where what we're doing all the time is we come in and request, we pull a Java bean out of the HTTP session, we push it into a stateless session bean, do our work, come back out, forget to call set attribute on the HTTP session so it breaks, and return to the user, right? And we actually spend more code like pushing these things around, right, than we actually spend like solving a business problem. I mean, we may have only had to do like call one method, right, on the energy manager. So we've gone away from an object-oriented design where we just throw the, where we just keep the state and the transactional methods together to a much less subject-oriented design, and it's broken.